Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Raising Ummah. Today, inshallah, I will be talking to you about the curriculum I used with my eighth grader last year and what I will be using for this year for her ninth grade, inshallah. So I will start with math. We used last year, we used teaching textbooks and we will continue to use it. You can access it at www.teachingtextbooks.com. I'm personally in love with this curriculum. First, the curriculum itself is really good and easy to follow, and it's spiral. Um, and what I love most about it is how it's set up. It's an app. It used to be printed books, but now they have an app. It's actually an award-winning homeschooling math app. You can download it. Once you go to the website, you purchase the curriculum or the grade or the level of math for your students, and then they guide you into downloading the app on their device. And you will have a parent account and a student account, so you can access as a parent, you can access the grade book, and you see the progress of your student and how they're doing at any time. And I love it personally. Not only the curriculum is good, but the way it's set up because they run the lessons for you. It's an interactive lesson that you just follow it as you open the lesson, you follow the lesson, and then it guides you through practice problems. And then there is the questions and exercises at the end of each chapter, and then they have quizzes, and then they have an end of the chapter, an end of the unit exams, and then a mid exam and a final exam. So it's just like a live class, exactly how it's set up. And the best thing is, you as a parent, you really don't need to do anything unless the student, of course, still doesn't understand anything or something, and then needs some help or supervision. But with the older ones, I use it with multiple of my children, and it's just godsend for me because I used to spend a lot of time helping my children in math when we get textbooks or curriculums, and it's just they don't understand it. But the way they walk you through each lesson, it's really self-taught. It's really simple, and you can follow the lesson as it goes on. And then even in the practice problem, if you don't, they let you try first, and if you don't, they walk you through the steps of the solutions. And they do the same thing in in the end of the chapter questions. Like if they got something wrong, they you can walk through the solution and see what happened. So I we used it for eighth grade, and we will continue to use it for ninth grade, inshallah. And then for language arts, we use the good and the beautiful. I myself like the good and the beautiful, but this year, subhanAllah, my kids had enough with the good and the beautiful. Number one, the literature choice they say is very boring. So that's for my eighth grader last year, and also my other high schooler. She said the same thing, and before that last year, my fourth grader said the same thing. So they all agree that the literature choice for the good and the beautiful is not the best. Quite boring. Most of the choices are quite boring to them. And also, my eighth grader last year, she said that the curriculum was so much focused on the history of art. It does have a lot of art, but also focused on the history of art. And to her, that's not something that interests her, so it was quite boring as well. Um, so we decided she didn't want to continue on with the good and the beautiful. So we decided to explore different options. I have come across moving beyond the pages and moving beyond the page, and it seems interesting. I like that each unit is written by a different author, which is really good for the kind of students who are bored easily. So each unit will look different than the other. It covers different genres. It has drama, it has nonfiction, it has fiction, it has poetry. It has a lot of different genres, which is also quite interesting. And it also has different activities from it has public speaking. It has a lot of writing and grammar based. It has uh, reading comprehension, composition, vocabulary, critical thinking, literary analysis. Um, of course, focused so much on grammar as well. So it does seem promising, and it has a lot of online supplements as well, videos, and a lot of things that you can access. And I also like that it comes as PDF as well as printed format. The only thing that is not good so far um, is the fact that it's pricey, but they do have flexible payment options. One of the options is interest free. So this is what I went with this year, inshallah. So we'll see. It does have Shakespeare in it included, just to mention. The choice is Romeo and Juliet for high school curriculum. Moving beyond the page was not for high schooler. This is a new thing. I've read good reviews. For me personally, I did not include Shakespeare in my homeschooling at all. This is going to be the first time, and we kind of talked about Romeo and Juliet before. We might not cover this part of the curriculum. I will look at it and I will see what exactly it covers in it, because I am not a big fan of Shakespeare literature to be taught to children. So we'll see how that goes, inshallah. But that's as far as language arts, and to access it. And the good thing about the good and the beautiful is the fact that it's very, very affordable, very cheap. And I'm gonna miss that this year. But that's it for the language arts, and you can access both the good and the beautiful, and the moving beyond the page through their websites here. Um, and that's it. And the good and the beautiful, even though my children didn't, they're not big fans of it for language arts. I think it could also be good for others, because after all, literature is based on a person's taste. They just didn't like the literature choice for that curriculum. So for geography, it's actually been one of the easiest thing for me over the past couple years. We use simply Charlotte Mason, and we are very thrilled with it. We love it, all of us, the kids and I. We love it so much. It's based on intensive map work, and that's mainly why I like it. Um, um, and then it comes with, you're supposed to buy these two books, The Hungry Planet and Material World. And the way it works is, after you do the map work, you're supposed to, they ask you a couple questions based on pages from these two books. And the books is basically, it shows you pictures. One shows how, like, the kind of food in the house of an average family in that country that you're doing and learning for the day. So, which in turn tells you how people live their life through the food they eat. And then the material world, it just tells you different information about the country and pictures of places and people in the country that they're doing for the day on the map. So it kind of tells you, gives you a glimpse of how the country looks like and how people in this country look like, and kind of live their lives as well. Um, for my eighth grader, she didn't like these two books so much. So instead, we did something different this year. Every time she would add a country, I had her look up a video, like one of these traveling videos about that country. She watches it, and then at the end of the year, she gave us a presentation. Actually, a couple of them did this, a presentation about each of the countries in Africa. This year we did Africa. That's what we did. And also, Charles Mason comes with, the book comes with a list of recommended book to read for different age groups, for the continents that they're covering. So they had a lot of nice living books, and our favorites are always the picture books recommended about the continent. So that was also fun. And we're, for her ninth grade, we will do. They already covered Canada, United States, and the Middle East. So this year we're going to do. Asia and Africa, Asia and Europe, hopefully. The same way, I think they like the idea of watching videos for each country, traveling videos, and learning about this country, and then having a presentation by the end of the year, inshallah. So that's as far as geography. So, as far as history, mainly US history, and through the US history, we learn about the world history. We have been using US history through children's literature. These two books divide history to two different history times. The first one is from colonial period to World War II, and then post World War II. So I have these. These are mainly the teacher. These these two books mainly for teacher. It's a teacher guide, and what it has is a brief introduction about each time period, and then a list of book recommendations, living books, happened or covering this time period. So it's mainly and entirely based on living books. But the way I use it is with each they have like a book recommendation for big groups, and then for small groups, and then for individual groups. And with each book recommendation, they have vocabulary list, they have comprehension questions, and they also have activities at the end of each time period. So it's really great. We've been using it for more than, I would say, 3 or 4 years, and they all love it. The way I use it is, in addition to reading the living books, I give them a brief introduction about this time period, and then they read the living book, and they from the living book they write down the facts about that time period that they learned in their living books. And then after that, they do their own research about that time period, and they come up with a presentation afterwards. We read, so I have three older ones that do that, and then I read to them. I read aloud in their family, in our family basket. I read aloud book about that same time period. So we end up with four different living books about that time period, and when they do their presentation, they actually give us a summary about that living book and recommend it if it was a good read to the others. So you end up, at the end of each time period, you end up knowing or reading at least four living books, besides your own research and the research of others. Usually they get together, the older three, and they divide that time period to three different parts, and each one take a part to do their research on, and then they put the presentation together at the end of the semester or the end of the time period. We usually have like four quarters for the year with four different time periods. For example, that past year, we did the Industrial Revolution, we did Vietnam War, I think we did the Native Americans, and I don't remember what else, but that's pretty much how we covered history, and they are in love of this way. Sometimes I do incorporate some sort of nonfiction books in our family basket, just to, and actually that's what I'm gonna be doing this year. I will share that in a different video about my family basket. So it like a list of the major events in the world and in the U.S. history. We discuss it together and read briefly about it during our family basket. So that will cover history for her, inshallah. And I forgot to add, as far as history, uh, the teachers' books, they only have the book recommendation, but you will still have to buy the books. What I do, I go to what I usually use is um, I go to Google and I type the title of the book, and I go to shopping, Google Shopping, and then they give me where the book is on which website and the price, and I go for the cheapest, of course. So I usually most of the time I buy used books, and usually the cheapest would always be most of the time thrift books. So I have an account there, and I go there, and they have a point system. So after you collect some some points, it counts towards discount or something like that. So that's always been my go-to when I am looking for living books, to get it used and cheaper. So for science, my daughter, she is into geology and earth science, so she chose to do geology. And when we looked up the good and the beautiful and how they divide science into different topics, she kind of liked it, and we got it, and she tried it for the whole year, and she loved it. I love it too. The way it's broken down, it's very simple. It's very easy to follow. She does it completely on her own. She doesn't need my help at all unless something she doesn't understand. She comes to me, and uh, she gets the help she needs. And even sometimes, even if she doesn't understand, she goes, and they have some videos as supplemental resources to use. So she's loving it, and because she loves it, she is going to try the good and the beautiful chemistry with it. Well, now here's the thing. She's eighth grader now. She's ninth grader. She was eighth grader last year. So this year she's a high schooler. The good and the beautiful is not necessary. Science, that is not necessarily for high school, but I still like it. She's a ninth grader, so she can still squeeze that in because it's really simple, and it does break down very complicated topics into very simple, um, uh, explaining in a very simple way. So for her not have done an actual chemistry curriculum before, I think that will be a good introduction. And the book is not so big. It's really not intensive. So my plan is for her to try this and introduce a different topic of science through the good and the beautiful, since she likes the how it's set up. And then after that, maybe in high school, I can give her like an actual spine book for high school science, because it's very important to get the foundation set in first, and she understands the big terms and the big concepts in science. Then we can go deep, um, especially if she's going to be a science major. So that is the plan. So we tried the good and the beautiful, and we will continue with the good and the beautiful. And of course, one of the major things I like about the curriculums I choose is how affordable it is. And the good and the beautiful is one of the most affordable curriculum out there. So it is, and the good thing is they always have a digital option. You can buy it as a digital. I don't do that most of the time anymore. I used to do it all the time, but I feel it's just a big mess having to get everything in digital and then having to print it. And with the expensive ink right now, I don't think it's very affordable. But I use the digital option for things that I know I will need multiple copies of, like simply Charlotte Mason, for example. I know I need copy for each one of them, so I buy the digital one, or the handwriting or something like that. But the option is there for whoever wants to use it. And for the Quran, first of all, we use Quran Journal, and this is really, really, really an activity. I talked about it a lot. It's a really an activity. It's a very good activity to use with the kids. We've been using it for over, I don't know, forever, and both my kids and I like it so much. They choose an ayah, they choose the name of Allah. They some of it now we added gratefulness. I'm grateful for something, and we get the blank page and the line page journal. So on the blank page, they draw or they do calligraphy, or whatever it is that they want to do, some sort of art on one page to represent what they have written on the line page. We have many notebooks now from previous years, and they go and they look back at it and they just love it. And I love reading through it. It's really, really, really good activity to as kind of hands-on, and to encourage reflection and comprehension of major topics and major things in Islam, whether it's being grateful or the different ayat that they learn or hear or memorize, as well as the names of Allah. As far as memorization, we use a program, an online program. It's NEPTA. It's it's really, really great program because although it does memorization and it has different levels of memorization, it focuses so much on the tafsir and the understanding of the ayat. They have interactive activities, they have quizzes, and a lot of involvement of the students in the class as well. I highly encourage this program. And for review and tilawa, we they have I have her in the Al Fath Academy, which is another online program, and we've been with them for I think 2 3 years now. They're very punctual. The teachers are very friendly. They're certified, all of them, and of course they're very affordable. So it really mainly you can do whatever you want. They do Islamic studies, they do Arabic, but I choose for them to just focus with the kids on reviewing the ayat that they have already or that they've already memorized, as well as tilawa, like focus on tajweed and tilawa, and perfecting their reading, inshallah. So we've been happy with these two programs. We've been in it for the past couple of years, and we're happy, and we will continue to use them, inshallah, in the future. So for Islamic studies, last year we used books and videos. She wanted to review the Sira Nabawiyya, so she watched videos Nabil Al-Awadi on YouTube. It's available on YouTube, and I think it was in Ramadan, so it's 30 episodes. She took notes and she made presentation through videos. It was really great, and she learned a lot from it. And she also started the year, actually, that was later in the year. The first semester, she read لأنك Allah, and she gave a beautiful presentations again through videos. So that was what she did that year, last year. But this year, we are sticking back to curriculum. Um, so we chose the Palestinian curriculum. I like it because it does have the different topics and subjects in Islam, from Quran, Hadith, Tawheed, and Fiqh. Uh, so it's really interesting, and we're looking forward to using it. I have not used the Palestinian curriculum for Islamic studies before, so we're really excited to use it. Hopefully, it will be very beneficial, inshallah. And also because she was supposed to start the Jida side like her sister this year, but just things didn't work out. Alhamdulillah. So we decided to read the books of the Jida side so that when she starts next year, she would have a head start and it will be easier for her because she's a little intimidated to join the Jida side. So I think getting a head start and reading the books will help her and ease her into the program for next year, inshallah. And Al Site is a beautiful online platform that basically teaches. It focuses on the identity, the Islamic identity from Muslim youth, and then it teaches them and enhances that and supplement that with the Islamic studies teachings and even Arabic teachings. And they have a great. Even if you are not going to join them, I think their reading suggestions is very beneficial, and it will really benefit our youth if you decide to just if you just want to check out their books. It will really be a good thing because it really is. Um, uh, it's a great collection of books, mashallah. So that will be it, inshallah, for Islamic studies. As for اللغة العربية, Arabic language, we had an online class at Dina Warey, and it's a really, really great class. They're based in Jordan, and they're great teachers. They're certified, and it's a very rich Arabic course. They teach everything. They teach balagha, they teach nahwa and qira'a and literature and qawaid, of course. Um, so it's really intensive, and I highly recommend it. Um, and alongside of that, we had some like random readings, and I had her read the book Kuni Sahabiya Al Hanan Lashin. It was really a great book. She enjoyed it, and we would talk about it. So that would work on her speech, as well as khataba and speaking in Arabic. Um, so I do feel that that was not enough for Arabic last year, but last year was a crazy year anyway. So this year, inshallah, we decide to stick to our curriculum just to make sure. We will still do a Dinawari, um, but we are going to do again the Palestinian curriculum. We both looked into it, and it looks promising. So we will use it, inshallah. Alongside that, like I said, with the Islamic studies, the Kutub al Jil Side, the book recommendation for Al Jil Side, which is also an online academy that she will join next year, inshallah. So that will also count towards her Arabic reading, which is also to it's Islamic studies based. So we will, hit one bird with two birds with one stone by doing these same books towards our Arabic reading, and at the same time, the content of it is Islamic studies based. So um, that would be great. Uh, that's I think that's it for Arabic. So part of what we do in homeschooling is hobbies, or what you might want to call electives. So for my ninth grader, she has been very interested in Turkish. She does jewelry and a lot of creative and artisty stuff. So she goes through classes and videos and all this. But what she's been also interested in is Turkish, and she's been taking it on her own for quite some time. And then she started Duolingo for a year, over a year now, and she's going through all these levels. And I always tell them, if you are very serious and show me that you're very serious about something, I will go and take an extra step towards you learning it. So Duolingo is completely free, which is great. But then she wanted to go deeper into Turkish and practice the language. And since she has proven to be very serious about it, we started seeking, more serious resources. So we tried Preply.com. It's I don't know if it's an app also, but it's on the website. It has a website, and this is paid courses. We tried to look on OutSchool because OutSchool is always our go-to, because her sister does ASL, American Sign Language, and she takes live classes on OutSchool, and it's been great. But they don't have I think the only thing they have is very basic, but she's beyond the basics. Which again she did on her own, so that was great. So Preply is great because they have live teachers. She found great ones. She's been working with one right now, and it's paid. It's affordable. I think it's about. It depends on the teacher you choose, just like OutSchool, I believe. So that she does like a $10 per hour kind of thing. So it's relatively affordable. She takes one class per week. So she's going to continue with that. Uh, that's it for elective. I think that covers everything that I have used with my eighth grader and planning on using with her for ninth grade. I ask that you please don't forget me and my family, and my late father from your dua. Um, And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me, whether on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram. And I will see you in another video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.